Welcome, dear viewers, to another captivating episode of our series, Biblical Stories. Today we embark on a remarkable journey as we explore the profound story of Abraham and his unwavering obedience to God's command. Join us as we delve into the depths of this narrative and unravel its timeless lessons that continue to inspire and challenge us to this day. The obedience of Abraham. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He called his name, and Abraham replied, "Here I am." Then God said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I will show you." The next morning, Abraham got up early, saddled his donkey, and took two of his servants and his son Isaac with him. He cut wood for the burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the two of them continued on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar, on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham!" "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide." And to this day it is said, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, "I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me." Then Abraham returned to his servants, and they set off together for Beersheba, and Abraham stayed in Beersheba. Lessons. 1. Trusting in God's promises. Abraham's obedience showcases his unwavering trust in God's promises. Despite being commanded to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac, Abraham remained faithful, believing that God would provide. This teaches us the importance of trusting in God's faithfulness, even in the midst of difficult circumstances. 2. The cost of true obedience. Abraham's obedience was not without sacrifice. He willingly offered his son Isaac as a burnt offering, demonstrating his willingness to surrender everything to God. This challenges us to consider the cost of our own obedience and to be willing to surrender our desires and plans to God's higher purpose. 3. God's faithfulness and provision. In the critical moment, God intervened and provided a ram as a substitute for Isaac. This act of divine provision affirmed God's faithfulness and highlighted his role as the ultimate provider. It reminds us that God is always faithful to his promises and that he will provide for our needs in unexpected ways. 4. The fear of God. Abraham's obedience revealed his deep reverence and fear of God. His unwavering devotion to God's command displayed his understanding of God's sovereignty and authority. This story challenges us to cultivate a deep reverence for God and to live our lives in awe of his power and wisdom. 5. Blessings through obedience. God blessed Abraham abundantly as a result of his obedience. He promised to make his descendants numerous and to bless all nations through them. This highlights the principle that obedience to God's commands leads to blessings and demonstrates the far-reaching impact of individual acts of obedience. The story of Abraham's obedience is a testament to the power of unwavering faith, trust in God's promises, and the cost of true obedience. It encourages us to examine our own lives and consider the areas in which we can demonstrate obedience to God's commands. Join us in our next episode of Biblical Stories. as we continue to explore captivating stories from the annals of history, uncovering timeless truths and inspiring lessons for our lives today.